stop, ask her if it's okay. If she's not answering your questions properly, move on. It will save you money in the long run. You will not regret it. I regret my decision to have stayed.
Stores are like Chelsea change. Down the lights, spread the dimes. Time to spread this, your dream sense at all. Godly thrones that be dancing, so lots got around some don't.
Hey guys, it's Shelby with SISTERLOCKS and welcome to Two Sisters Locked. Okay, well as you can see today it is only me here. So Lexi is, I don't know, actually she's in the apartment somewhere, but not in my room obviously. If you've never been to our channel before, she has traditional locks, she's my sister, and I have sister locks. So we have this channel together so we can share both of our journeys to help all of you out there who either have locks already, either of the types of locks, or if you're thinking about getting locks and are interested in both types, or if you just want to learn more about black hair, like stay. Well, today is going to be a long-awaited video to kind of give, anyway, I'm going to explain my SISTERLOCKS installation horror story, okay? This is not clickbait. I can't even believe I'm saying this because I literally never expected this to be my experience, but here we are. And so I'm just gonna give all the tea. So I'm gonna start out by saying what about my locks needs to be fixed and how I'm getting it fixed. And then I'm going to go into all the details about the red flags that led me to find a new loctician who eventually discovered that I had all these issues with my hair. Now, I am not doing this to be petty, so I'm not gonna mention the name of the stylist or the salon that I was at. The point of this is to be transparent about my journey so that y'all hopefully do not make the same mistakes that I did or run into the same issues that I did. So I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna give all the tea, gonna tell all the details, but I really don't want this to be a petty thing, so I'm not gonna mention the actual person. And honestly, I don't think that she did it out of hate for me or spite or she was trying to be malicious. I think she's just, no offense, not good at SISTERLOCKS, and so got kind of screwed over, but it's okay. We're gonna go into it right now and it's gonna be great. So to start out, as I said, I'm gonna go over what's wrong with my locks because a lot of people when they see, they're like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. Like, what could be wrong? Well, yes, I think they're cute. You know what I'm saying? But there are issues. So now let me say this, I'm halfway through the process of fixing them. So when I show y'all examples, I'll probably show like the top half. So if you can see, if I lift up my hair, you can see how much loose hair is left out, right? So up here is all SISTERLOCK and then from here down is loose. And that's how it is. See, this one's fixed. But that's how it is for a lot of my hair. You see there's like several, if I were to stretch it, it's several inches of hair that is still loose and is not locked. That's an issue. That should not be the case. When they SISTERLOCK your hair, you should be left with only about an inch or so at the end that is not fully locked, and that will itself will curl up. So you can see down here are some of the ones that have been fixed, and as you can see, it's just short amounts of hair that are not locked, and see it curls up, okay? That was not happening with these pieces because it was such long pieces that it just wasn't working. So that's the first like major issue. The ends were not done to the end, which is pretty frustrating because it takes a long time to fix that because there were some parts of my hair where 7 to 8 inches were left out. And so when my loctician is fixing it, what she does, she combs down. So like, for example, here's one with a lot of loose ends. So she combs down this part, the SISTERLOCK part, all the way to the bottom. And then so up here ends up being puffy, like the piece you need to fix. And then she'll lock it all the way to the top. And I'll have another video coming soon of like a detailed showing how she fixed it. So when I have that, it'll be easier to see like what exactly she's doing. But until then, that's basically how I would explain it. She uses this like comb and combs it to the end. And then she locks it all the way to the root again. And so when you have 7 and 8 inches of hair left out, she's doing like 6 inches of locks all the way up, which is basically another install, like an install on short hair. So it's taking a long time, and because commonly the prices tend to be like $200 per 3 hours for retightening sessions, I'm paying a lot of money to fix this. I'm expecting I'll probably pay about $1,500 in total to fix my hair. And please realize I already paid about $1,000 to install it. So that is a little bit frustrating, obviously. Because if it was done right the first time, I would not be paying another $1,500, which I mean, it's a lot of money, especially for a college student. So that's the first issue that's wrong. The other thing that's wrong, and kind of like in with that, is that some of the locks are very loose. So let me see if I can find one. There are some that if I pull up, it literally feels like it's a twist. I don't know if it's gonna be hard for y'all to see, but it's just like very loose where you can almost see through the pattern. Can y'all see that? You see what I'm saying? There are little like holes and stuff and you can see through the pattern. It's because when she was locking it, it was too loose. She didn't didn't do it tight enough. And so it's way too loose. And so that was all through my hair too. So even the ones where a lot of ends are not necessarily left out, she's still having to comb down and do to the top because the pattern wasn't tight to begin with. And then the third main thing that's wrong with my locks is that there's holes throughout my locks. Holes happen when, so as I've kind of explained before, when you're installing sister locks, you do a 4-point pattern or sometimes 3 points. So it's like you go up through the hair, north, south, east, west, or something like that, northwest, east, south, I don't know. Basically you do 4 directions. So imagine if someone did north, 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 south, east, west, right? Like then you have that repeat of the pattern. That's what causes holes in the locks. And I have those all throughout my hair, she said. So that means that she messed up the pattern a lot. And so that also has to be fixed. So those are the 3 things I'm working on getting fixed. And as I said, it's gonna be a lot of money to do so because it's hours and hours of time to fix them. She gave me the option, she being the new loctician that I went to, that I go to now. She gave me the option, she said we can also just comb out your locks completely and start from scratch. And I was like, oh gosh, I really didn't want to do that. So I didn't do that. I decided to just get them fixed. It's kind of a lot of money, but that's okay. So yeah, so the reason why I'm talking about all this specifically, what's wrong with it, is because a lot of this, if I was more informed, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos leading up to getting my sister locks, but if I was more informed, I feel like I would have noticed earlier that this was a problem and would have just stopped her. So I'm saying this to y'all, so that if you're watching this and you have not gotten sister locks yet, so that you know. If any more, I'm serious, y'all, listen. I'm gonna zoom in. If any more than an inch of hair is left out at the ends, stop your loctician. Ask her to either do it fully to the ends, and if she cannot, find someone new. I know you'll probably have to pay $50 for another consultation to find someone else. That's okay. That's better than having to pay $1,500 at the end to get it all fixed. If they are not doing it right from the beginning, pay attention. Installations are done over multiple days. And before that, they even have the consultation where they do a few test locks. If from the very beginning you know something is wrong, do not think, oh, she's the expert, she knows what she's doing. Stop, ask her if it's okay. If she's not answering your questions properly, move on. It will save you money in the long run. You will not regret it. I regret my decision to have stayed. And people were saying, people are like, oh, that's a lot of hair left at the end. But I was like, oh, like I think it's normal amount, because I asked her, I told her, I was like, is this like how far you should be going? She said, oh yeah, no, we're getting to the end. And the other thing is, there was another Sister Locks loctician there at the salon. She was always coming over and looking, and I've seen her clients' hair like mature because I was there for so many hours. Like I was seeing her take Sister Locks clients too, and their hair looked great. So I was like, oh, she obviously knows what she's doing, even if mine didn't. And she's over here looking and not saying a word, so she must be doing a fine and dandy job. No, you need to take care of yourself, because nobody else, I guess, is indebted to you. You're paying too much money to get Sister Locks installed to not have it perfect from the beginning, okay? So that's mainly it about what is wrong with my locks and how I'm getting it fixed. I wanted to go into a little bit about the red flags that led me to find a new loctician, who then told me all this stuff was wrong with my hair. So she told me when I left that last day of the installation, she was like, let's not book your next retightening now. I'll reach out to you as we get closer to book it. I'm like, okay, like that's fine as long as you keep me in mind. So about 2 to 3 weeks passed. She still hasn't reached out to book it, right? I need to book it within usually about the first retightening actually should be within 4 weeks. And then after that, usually it's like 5 to 6 weeks. So I think it was 2.5 weeks had passed, and she still hadn't reached out. So I'm like, okay, let me text her. So I texted her, I was like, hey, can we go ahead and book? And I had told her before, once again, I'll be working. So the only times I can do it pretty much is Sundays. I was like, hi, like, you know, I haven't heard from you. I wanted to go ahead and book because I can only do Sundays. I know your schedule is tight, and I was supposed to have my first retightening in the next 2 weeks, so that you can check in on my hair. Hi, the earliest date I have is this date. And it was 7 weeks after the initial installation. 7 weeks is a long time even just for any retightening, and it's especially a long time for the first retightening because they're supposed to check in on your hair since it's so brand new. So I'm like, okay, hold on. I go there we work on the, I'm trying to remember if it was the front or the back half of my hair. Whatever it was, it took 6 hours. I think it was the front half then. It took about 6 hours. Now, for those of you who might not have sister locks, standard is about 3 to 4 hours or so for sister locks to retighten, okay? 6 hours for just about half of your hair is insane, especially because you're paying $150 for the first 3 hours most of the time, and this was her case as well. And then like usually like $35 for every half hour, or like $35 for every hour, like $20 for every half hour. It's usually somewhere in there. I don't remember what exactly her charge. I think it was like $35 for each hour or something like that. Anyway, so 6 hours for the first half. So that night I ended up paying, no, oh my gosh, wait, no, that's a lie. It was 8 hours because she ended up charging me for 4. She ended up charging me for half to be nice, okay? So I ended up paying $185 that first night just for the first half of my hair to be done, okay? So I leave there already upset. And then when I leave, I remembered something. If you go on the SISTERLOCKS website, you see that when you pay for the installation, that price covers the consultation, the installation, and the first retightening. I remember I even watched a YouTube video once saying, if they don't include your first retightening in the installation price, run. Like literally, that's what the girl said in the video. But I didn't remember until after I left. I waited a couple of days, and I think it was like Sunday or Monday. This was Friday. Sunday or Monday, I texted her. I was like, hey, I just remembered something. Isn't the first retightening included in the installation? And the reason why I knew that really it should have been even for her is because she included my consultation in the installation price. So obviously she knows that they're all supposed to be included, okay? She basically was like, no, I don't do packages, send me something. So then I'm like, okay. She's like, what website? I don't do packages. So I said, the official SISTERLOCKS website, it says so and so and so. If you're a consultant that you're supposed to do this. And she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't offer like packages. So I just didn't respond because I was over it by that point. I was really upset that I was already paying $185 and I knew I'd have to pay a bunch more to get the other half of my head done. So I go in on this Sunday. Once again, trying to be I really do try to be like a positive person, especially like when I'm dealing with people who aren't like close to me, who know me. Look in there, smiley face Shelby, of course, sitting in the chair. So she's going through a lot quicker because, you know, the back is bigger. So it gets to about 3 hours, and no, it gets to about 2.5 hours. And the lady who like rings people up is about to leave. So she's like, can you pause? I keep on saying her name. Can you pause and let her come pay before I like close down the system and head out? She's like, sure. So she like starts writing up the receipt. I go up to pay. Now remember what I said, it's $150 for the first 3 hours, and then I think it was like $35 for each additional hour, okay? So to you, what do y'all think that means? If you do it in 2 days because you're too slow on the first day to finish, right? If you do it in 2 days, the extra hours you do on the second day is just a continuation of the first day. I'm up at the thing to pay and it comes up $150. So I'm like, oh, wouldn't it just be $35 times the amount of hours we do today? So then the lady who's ringing me up caught a huge attitude, but it's not the same day. She caught a huge attitude. I remember I was looking at her like, very unnecessary. So I remember I just looked at her, she caught an attitude. I just literally looked at her for a second and I just turned to pay. Cause I'm like, I'm not about to argue over, I think it was like $45 it would have saved me to do the other way. I'm like, I'm not about to argue over this. She is slow because she's new and that is fine, but do not charge your client more because of that. And I was so upset. I literally sat in that chair and I literally started crying. I'm not even kidding. Like I was like, obviously like not trying to show my screen. I was like, oh, but I was like tearing up because I was so upset that they were clearly taking advantage of me. And I'm still in this situation with her. It was just constantly something, the scheduling issue, the money, it was just always something. And realized at this time, I still didn't even know my locks were ruined, y'all. So I was so upset, and in that moment, I literally went right then and I booked for a new person, for a new loctician, because I just couldn't handle it anymore. I was so mad, I was so upset. Another red flag that happened in that appointment, I was about to go to Bahamas like a couple weeks after that, so I asked her, I was like, you know, I know my hair is not supposed to get wet this early, should I just braid and band like when I'm going in the beach water and stuff? And she was like, no, we're way past time of slippage. Yo, this is 8 weeks into my SISTERLOCKS journey. Slippage can go on for like over a year. Anyone else will tell you to braid and band when you wash or wet your hair for a year, because slippage is when the pattern starts to slip because the hair gets wet when it's not supposed to and it's too early. Anyone tells you to braid and band for like over a year, She's telling me 8 weeks in I don't need to braid and band. That's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is a wrap. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, she never gave me my initial SISTERLOCKS starting kit. She said that she didn't want me to use the SISTERLOCKS shampoo because my head was dry, which is true. I do have like dandruff because you're not supposed to put stuff in your hair, and my head was not ready for that because my hair, I already have dry scalp. So she's like, I don't want you using the SISTERLOCKS shampoo because it'll dry your hair out too much. But then when I went to my new loctician, she was like, regardless, you need to use it because that is specifically what keeps the locks from swelling, which will also ruin and loosen the locks. So she told me to go buy some random shampoo that had some kind of oil in it. You're not supposed to use shampoo with oil. She told me to not braid and band when I got my hair wet because I was past the time of slippage. That was not true either. So luckily when I went to Bahamas, I knew from YouTube videos that I was supposed to braid and band. So I braid and banded anyway. But it was just all this stuff that was red flag. So that's pretty much the end of my experience with her, because after that, I literally did not text her ever again. I did not book a new thing. I just moved on. I said, I'm gonna count my losses. And she, since then, has not reached out. She has not asked me like when I'm coming back for my next retightening, nothing. We literally just, I think we both realized it was just time to be done. I think it was like a month after that, if even, I went to the new lady. I think it was maybe 3 weeks. And she's looking at my hair and she's like, the ends are way too much is left out. There are holes all throughout your locks. Like, I'm gonna have to fix them or redo them. And so I'm like, wow. And so I decided to get them fixed. So I've been going to her consistently. We'll do like 3 hours, basically like once a week, and just like fix it as we go. Cause obviously my hair still looks fine and I could go out like it without it being all fixed at once, and it's gonna take hours. So I've gone for 3 sessions so far, 9 hours total. And we're about halfway through, probably just under halfway. But like, you know, and sitting there talking in her chair, like sometimes we'll chat about all kinds of stuff, we'll watch movies, stuff like that. But like the first time I went, like for the first like 3 hours to get it fixed, I was just like, we were just chatting and she was like asking me about my experience, like, and I was telling her about like all the red flags that came up, and she was shocked. She made me sit there and look up to make sure that she was on the SISTERLOCKS website, because she was like, this stuff that you're telling me is so ridiculous that I literally, it would only make sense if she never went through training. But she was on the website and everything. And my new loctician, she was just like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like the holes in the locks, that's just amateurness, basically. That's not a word, but you get it. She was just like, the whole not including the retightening price, that's ridiculous. That's like basics that we all are taught. The 150 plus the extra, that's done when people are actually at a decent speed. She was saying new people, if you're very, very slow and taking 10 hours on someone's hair, you should not be doing that, because that's obviously charging an outrageous amount. I paid, by the way, I don't think I ever said this, I paid over $300 for my first retightening. I paid about $350 for my first retightening because she was charging me by the hour and it was so slow. You shouldn't be paying more than like $200 for a retightening, and that's only if you have like a lot of locks, your hair is really long. And so just the whole thing was just so frustrating. And looking back, I'm just glad that I moved on when I did and didn't decide to keep staying with her, because I wouldn't have known that my locks were ruined. I would have still been paying an outrageous amount. And yeah, so I really wanted to put this video out here to be transparent, so y'all know what's going on with my hair, so that y'all know about the struggles I face, so that y'all don't also face that. If you're going through this with someone right now and you're like thinking, should I leave, should I not? Leave. It'll work out for the better. And I love my loctician so much. She is so funny. We literally have the best conversations when we talk. She's just so cool. She really tries to make like a community with all her clients. She's just great, and I literally would not have moved on if it weren't for that last day where I was just fed up and crying in that chair. So anyway, this video is long. I don't know. I'll think about putting it into 2 parts maybe. We'll see. Or I might just be able to cut all of this out, I don't know. But hopefully this is helpful. As I said, another video will be coming soon with the details of how she's fixing it. So with close-up videos on like how she's doing it. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful to y'all. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down below if you've experienced this, or what other tips you have for me moving forward. What other tips you have for other people like watching this video. And yeah, just definitely go by our Instagram at 2SistersLocked. We post a lot on there, literally almost every day. We post reels, we post like TikToks, we post photos, we post informative stuff, we post funny stuff. We're on our stories all the time, so definitely go by there. And then of course subscribe, as I said, subscribe, comment, like on this channel, because we'll be posting more videos like this, just like sharing our experience, what we've gone through with our locks, and just keeping y'all updated. And also let us know what kind of videos you want below. I'm gonna start doing like updates, like monthly or like every 2-month updates on how my hair is going. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know, as I said, I was spilling tea, so I know it was a lot of drama, but I just hope it was helpful for you. So that's all I have today. Have a great week. Bye.